Okay, so we're going to study transformations. We have isometric transformations, which are congruent. That means they are equal to one another. They're the same size and the same shape. And we have three of those. We have the reflection, which I've highlighted in FL here in blue, which means it is a flip. We have a rotation, which I've highlighted in blue here for a T, and that means it's a turn. We have a translation, which is SL, which means it's a slide. So I've kind of color-coded these so that you can associate the transformation with what's happening to it. So a reflection flips, a rotation turns, and a translation slides. We also have one that is similar, which means it's the same shape, and that's going to be a dilation, and we're either going to enlarge it or reduce it. That's going to involve a scale factor with similar figures being the same shape. Okay, the first one we're going to go over are reflections. And a reflection over a line flips the pre-image, which is the original figure, over the line. The line of reflection is also the perpendicular bisector between the pre-image and the image, which is the transformed figure. There are some mappings that we can use for some common reflection lines. The first one is the x-axis. This is our pre-image point. This is the original point, and it gets mapped or transformed into x, negative y. So the x-coordinate stays the same, and the y-coordinate changes signs. Then when we flip over the y-axis, our pre-image point is the original point, gets transformed into negative xy. That means we're changing the sign of the x, and the y stays the same. Y equals x, that is our parent function for a line. And our mapping is our original point gets mapped onto y equals x, which flips the x and y coordinates around. And then we have y equals negative x, and that maps xy onto negative y, negative x. So they flip and the opposite signs. Okay, before I move on to rotations, we're going to go ahead and do some examples. So I'm going to flip out my papers here. And I'm going to reflect over the x-axis. My x-axis is identified here. This is my pre-image. That is my original image. And this is my pre-image points. And I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. So since it's a flip, I'm going to take this figure and I'm going to flip it over the x-axis. I am going to use the mapping. The mapping says my image is going to be x, negative y from the original. So if I have point 2, negative 2, I'm going to keep the original x, which is 2, and then I'm going to take the opposite sign of the y. That's going to be negative 2. And I'm going to repeat that with each point. So 6 stays the same, and I take the opposite of negative 4, which is positive 4. 4 stays the same, and the opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. And that should be positive as well. Forgot to take the opposite sign. Okay, now I'm going to plot the points. I have the mapping, and now I'm going to plot the points. So I'm going to plot A prime at 2, 2. There's A prime. B is at 6, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's B prime, and C prime is at 4, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there is C prime. Now reflections preserve congruence, so they should be congruent to one another. They are equal. Now to point out the perpendicular bisector, my x-axis is my perpendicular bisector between A and A prime. So there should be a 90-degree angle there. And since my line of reflection is horizontal, my vertical line would be perpendicular. And I also want to make sure they're the same distance away. So from my line to A prime is 2 units, and from my line to A is 2 units. So that's where that perpendicular bisector comes in. Reflecting over the y-axis, I'm also going to use my mapping with my image and pre-image. My image is going to be negative xy, which means I'm going to take the opposite sign of the x and the original y. So A prime is going to be the opposite of negative 4, so that's going to be positive 4, and the y stays the same, negative 2. The opposite of negative 1 is 1, negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is 5, and negative 7. So now I have my image point, and I am going to graph those on here. So 4, negative 2. There's my A prime. 1, negative 5. There's B prime. And 5, negative 7. There's C prime. And again, it preserves congruence, so they should be equal to each other. And I'm just kind of visually checking, since my line of reflection is vertical, my perpendicular bisector would be horizontal. And I can see they are in line and they are the same distance away. Okay, now this is where that perpendicular bisector is going to come in handy, because I don't have a mapping when my reflection line is anything other than the x or y axis, or the ones we've already covered. So this is my line of reflection, y equals -3, and that it's my perpendicular bisector between my points. So if I start at A, and my line of reflection is horizontal, so my perpendicular bisector is going to be vertical, and it's got to be the same distance, the bisector piece of it. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 units to my line, which means my new point is going to be 1, 2, 3 units from my line. So that's the location of A prime. Then I'm going to move to C. C is 1 unit away, so C prime should be 1 unit away. Then I'm going to move to D. D is 1 unit away from my line of reflection, so point D prime should be 1 unit away from my line of reflection. And then point D is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there's the location of B prime. So I'm using the perpendicular bisector exclusively to locate my image, and I can connect my points, and then I can identify my point. So A prime is located at 1, 2, 3, 4, -5, and 1, 2, 3, -3. So I had to go down 5 and down 3 to get to A prime. B prime is going to be at -2, -3. C prime is going to be at -5, -1. D prime is going to be at -2, -1. And those are my locations of the point. Reflect over y equals x, that's another one that we can map. And if I look at the mapping, it just switches places. So for A, 3, 3 is going to remain 3, 3. B prime is going to be 1, 6, because I'm switching places. And C prime is going to be -1, 3. Okay, so now I have that mapping. My A prime is at 3, 3, so when I plot that point, I know this is the same point as A. Any point that is on the line of reflection is going to stay on the line of reflection. 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's my B prime. And -1, 3, there's my C prime. And they are going to touch because A is on that line of reflection. They are congruent, and again, since my slope here is 1, that comes back to our parallel and perpendicular slopes. Since it's a perpendicular bisector, if my slope is 1, then my slope between my 2 points should be the negative reciprocal to make it 90 degrees, and it should be -1, which it is. So it's another way to visually check and make sure that you're on the right track. Okay, I'm going to put the other notes back on because now I'm going to go over rotations. So we're down here at rotations, and a rotation turns a figure about a fixed point called a center of rotation. If our center is 0, 0, then we could have the following mappings. So if we have a 90-degree clockwise turn, and if I bring your attention over to my little clock here, clockwise would be going in the same direction as a clock, is the same as a 270-degree counterclockwise turn. So that means I'm going the opposite direction, and 270 degrees would be at the 3. Okay? 180-degree clockwise, 180-degree counterclockwise, those are going to be the same. And a 270-degree clockwise and a 90-degree counterclockwise, those would be the same. And of course, a full 360 puts you right back where you started from. Okay, coming back here, the mapping is going to take the original point and switch places and take the opposite x. 180 degrees takes the opposite signs. A 270-degree clockwise, 90-degree counterclockwise switches them and makes the y opposite. And like I said before, 360-degree, you're right back where you started from, so it's the same point. So now I'm going to bring the examples back. And we're going to have a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, and I did have to add this piece here, the CCW, so you know it's counterclockwise. Our center is at 0, 0, so I'm going to mark my center. And I can follow the mapping, so that's going to give me originally an xy to a -yx. So that means point A, I'm going to look at my y and take the opposite. That's going to be -3, and x stays the same at 3. -4, and 6 stays the same. -7, and 4 stays the same. So that's my mapping. Those are the points for my new image, and that's going to plot at -3, 3. There's my A prime. -4, 6. There's my B prime. And -7, 4. There's my C prime. And again, rotations preserve congruency, so they are congruent to one another. Now, if we didn't have the mappings, what we could do is we could use a compass. This would be my center point. This would be the sharp point where the center of your compass would go. And you would extend it out to point A. And then you would draw an arc, 90 degrees, counterclockwise to A prime. And that would preserve that distance. And then you would measure that angle at 90 degrees. And I could do that with all 3 points and use my compass and protractor to rotate my figure. 180-degree rotation with the center at the origin. Again, the origin is at 0, 0. And I didn't have clockwise or counterclockwise because it's going to be the same either way. And that mapping changes my signs. So if I have -2, 2, then I'm going to have +2, -2 for the mapping. +4, -5 for B prime. +7, -1 for C prime. And then I just need to graph the images. So 2, -2, there's my A prime. 4, -5, there's my B prime. And -7, 1, there's my C prime. And there should be a 180-degree angle between A and A prime, and I can draw a line from my A through my center to A prime, and that is 180 degrees. Okay. 270-degree counterclockwise rotation. Again, my center is at the origin, so I'm going to mark my center. I can map this one just like I did the other examples. My mapping is going to change my pre-image points to y -x. So A prime is going to be -1, and I change the sign of x, so it's going to be +7. -4 stays the same, and I change the sign of -1 to +1. 0 stays the same, and I change it to +3. So that's the mapping. We're using the mapping on that one. And now I'm going to plot my points. So I have -1, 7. That's my A prime. -4, 1. There's my B prime. And then 0, 3. There's my C prime. And when I connect my points, that is my congruent triangle that has been turned 270 degrees counterclockwise.